Aaron Judge and Juan Soto are the best 1-2 punch in baseball since Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig.
Here's Judge. Can they go back to back? High fly ball, right field. He's at the wall. Back to back. He's done it again.
The last time we saw any pair of teammates do what Judge and Soto are doing in 2024 was 1932. Between now and then, no teammates had approached these levels on offense.
Soto and Judge, Judge and Soto, it works.
Think of any of the best combinations of teammates from any era. Ortiz and Manny, Griffey and Edgar, Mays and McCovey, DiMaggio and Gehrig, Mantle and Maris. That duo was not as awesome as Judge and Soto are this season.
There's got to be another league these guys need to play in, right?
I don't know what league could hold them right now.
Aaron Judge currently has an OPS plus of 230. Juan Soto has an OPS plus of 186. The only instances in baseball history of teammates both having an adjusted OPS of 180 or higher in at least 500 plate appearances, so even a lower threshold in both cases than where Judge and Soto are now, are these two in 2024, Ruth and Gehrig 5 different times, and two gentlemen named Cap Anson and King Kelly for the 1886 Chicago White Stockings. That's how rare what Judge and Soto are doing this season is. Before we get to the 5 greatest 1-2 punches of the wild card era, let's quickly run through the decades of Major League Baseball since Ruth and Gehrig, so you know we aren't glossing over anything when I tell you that Judge and Soto are indeed the best since Ruth and Gehrig.
Yankees go back to back.
In the 1940s, the best 1-2 punch in a single season by OPS Plus was Bobby Doerr and Bob Johnson for the 1944 Red Sox, who both had an OPS Plus of at least 165. In the 1950s, the best 1-2 punch in a single season was Hank Aaron and Eddie Matthews for the 59 Milwaukee Braves. Aaron had an OPS Plus of 183 and Matthews 168. Not even close in either case to Judge and Soto. In the 1960s, would you be surprised to learn that Frank Howard and Mike Epstein each had an OPS plus of 170 or higher for the 1969 Washington Senators? From 1970 to 79, no pair of teammates posted an OPS plus of 160 or higher in any season. From 1980 to 89, the best 1-2 punch was the 89 San Francisco Giants with Will Clark and Kevin Mitchell, with Clark at 175 and Mitchell an eye-popping 192. So that's a quick run through baseball history up through the 90s in terms of best single-season pairs of teammates and the production that followed. Now, let's count down the 5 best 1-2 punches in a single season in the wild card era in honor of what Judge and Soto are doing this season. In 5th place, tied, Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder of the 2011 Brewers and Ronald Acuna Jr. and Matt Olson of last season's Braves. Braun and Fielder were the lefty-righty thump of the 2011 Brewers. Braun posted a .332 average, .994 OPS, and 33 homers en route to a 166 OPS plus. Fielder launched 38 homers with 120 RBI and a .981 OPS en route to a 164 OPS plus. We know what Acuna Jr. did last season, the founding member of the 40 homers, 70 stolen base club, and his 1.012 OPS translated to a 171 adjusted OPS. Olson's 54 homers and a .993 OPS worked out to a 164 OPS plus, the exact same as Prince Fielder's from 12 seasons prior. It's the duo from the 1997 Mariners, Ken Griffey Jr. and Edgar Martinez. Griffey and Edgar are one of the most iconic 1-2 punches of the last few decades, and they appear at number 4. And in fact, they had very similar overall numbers as teammates in 97 if you simply ignore the homers. While Griffey hit 56 and Edgar hit literally half of that number, 28, their OPSs were nearly the same, 1.028 and 1.009, thanks to Edgar's insane .456 on-base percentage, and their adjusted OPSs were actually both 165. In 3rd place, Albert Pujols and Jim Edmonds of the 2004 Cardinals. While the 2004 Cardinals would eventually run into the buzzsaw that was the 2004 Red Sox, apologies to Manny and Big Papi for just missing this list. Albert Pujols and Jim Edmonds did everything they could during the regular season. Both players were above a 170 OPS plus, making them one of only 7 pairs of teammates to achieve that feat in modern baseball history since 1900. Pujols hit .331 with 46 homers and a 1.072 OPS. Edmonds hit .301 with 42 homers and a 1.061 OPS. In second place, Mookie Betts and J.D. Martinez of the 2018 Red Sox. Now we reach arguably the best 1-2 punch of this era before Judge and Soto, and the only team on this list to actually go on to win the World Series that season. Martinez was excellent in 2018, hitting .330 with 43 homers and a 1.031 OPS en route to a 173 OPS plus. But Mookie was truly otherworldly, managing to rack up a .346 average, a 1.078 OPS, despite only, quote-unquote, 32 homers, which worked out to a 186 OPS plus, basically exactly what Juan Soto is doing this season. And in first place, of course, if you haven't guessed by now, it's Judge and Soto from the 24 Yankees. Judge and Soto are not only the best 1-2 punch since Gehrig and Ruth, they are easily the best 1-2 punch since Gehrig and Ruth. The lesser player in this duo, Soto, would be the best player in most of the other best 1-2 punches ever. These two could end up being the first pair of teammates to finish first and second in the MVP voting since Barry Bonds and Jeff Kent in 2000, another duo that just missed. Judge is currently in the middle of what would, by OPS plus, be the best season by an American League batter since Ted Williams in 1957, and the best by a right-handed batter in either league since someone named Ross Barnes in 1876. Meanwhile, Soto is on track to be the first player since Mickey Mantle to rack up multiple qualified seasons with an OPS plus of at least 180 by age 25.
Every era had their superstar players. Well, you're watching two of them right now.
The debate isn't where Judge and Soto rank in recent baseball history. The debate will be whether this ends up being the greatest 1-2 punch in baseball history, or whether they'll have to settle for second to Ruth and Gehrig.